Captain Asthons wins again. Puts me at 2-1. Just a game behind the Whipping Boys. Close matchup against the Canids. I think my special hoodoo voodoo worked on Canids, got in his head, but mostly was he just didn't score enough points. I was lucky even for the points I scored. If it wasn't for the late play of the Denver Broncos, I wouldn't even won this week. And I, for one, want to change the overtime rules just so Peyton Manning can throw more yardage points for me. That's just my 2 cents. So other than that, the week really was about guys sitting on people's benches. I think just about everybody's had some studs on the bench who put up some decent points. Defensive guys, offensive guys, etc. Lamar Miller had a big week. Deshaun Jackson, Andrew Luck, Pierre Garçon. I remember just kept looking at guys on my bench who were getting huge points, and I think it was the theme of the week is when you lost, you got benched. Speaking of benched, contract year took a big hit by not starting Andrew Luck last week. I can't blame him. He had Aaron Rodgers as starter. Luck's an awesome backup, but Luck had a monster day. But as you can see, contract year just couldn't put up enough points. In fact, they were so low, he let Rabid Beavers win. So let's give a big hand to Rabid Beavers this week, you guys. Everybody, come on, everybody. Let's hear it for Rabid Beavers. We don't have to just clap for Chronic Roaches all the time. Beavers! 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 In the meantime, if you take a look at contract year's team, his bench scored 2 points less than his actual lineup did, though. So, just on the site a few minutes ago, there are some crazy amounts of add and drops going on with contract year, so I think there's going to be a facelift in that team coming up. So, we'll wait and see. Beavers, on the other hand, got his first win, and we'll see what he can bring to the table next week.
Oh, yes, I remember now. Missed it by that much.
I couldn't think of a better clip than that to really define the Chronic Roaches Whipping Boys match. A 1-point game that boiled down to the final, I guess, rejiggering numbers on Tuesday to really determine the winner. That puts Whipping Boys to 3-0, which is really an illusion. How much longer can he fake it? And I will say this about Whipping Boys. Even though he had a one stud guy on his bench, he still put up huge points. Chronic Roaches had the best he could do to get his points on. He was one of the few people that actually nailed all the great players to play this week, but it didn't really help him enough, did it? And it looks like Eye of the Storm got his first win of the season. Way to go, Eye. Welcome back to the fold. At least to try to pretend you're competing. That's awesome. Mikko drops another game. I was going to make fun of him for starting Greg Olsen in his lineup, but shit, that was the best scoring wide receiver he had all weekend, so you can't even do that. They didn't really need either guys off their bench. I mean, they could have, but it wouldn't have made much difference, especially in Marauder's case. Nice to see them both at 1 and 2. Now they're not both complete losers. Mullet Militia takes his first loss. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'm sure he's slowly being comforted by his mom in really inappropriate ways, but he'll get over it. In the meantime, 98 Vikings had a good game, decent scores. Not to mention, he had 2 players on his bench that had, I think, combined 43 points. Victor Cruz and Deshaun Jackson. Once again, studs on his bench, but didn't impact it at all. Mullet Militia is finally starting to look mortal and getting kind of going back to the pack, which we all expected, really, because it wasn't really last year just kind of a fluke. First, we have Canids versus Beavers. Canids is going to ride on the hot streak of Kirk Cousins. Looks like Beavers is going to keep their faith in Jay Cutler. Looks like a pretty close, tight matchup, though Canids is due to put some more points up than he did last week. Matt Forte seems to be a stud for him. Beavers just wants to try to compete on some kind of level. Next, we have, looks like Whipping Boys versus Eye of the Storm. Whipping Boys looks stacked for bear. Desperately going to go for his 4-0 record. Unbelievable, Whipping Boys, that you've gone this far. Eye of the Storm, it looks like he might be a little trouble. Both his quarterbacks are on bye. But he did pay his league fee, so his account is now active. So we'll see if he picks up a QB in the next few days. Only time will tell, but we'll see. I think Whipping Boys is due for a fall, and I think Eye's going to be the one to do it. Contract year is hopefully looking to bounce back, especially with the amount of ad drops he's been doing, moving teams around, offering trades. Looks like he's trying to do a quick midseason rebuild and make a run for it. Mullet Militia might be in a little trouble. Both of his QBs look a little weak to me. They both can have big games, but so far, Tony Romo and Tom Brady have not been as studly as they normally are. But hell, when you're starting Tony Romo, do you really have a chance? Up next, we have the 2-1 98 Vikings going up against the 1-2 Chronic Roaches. 98 looks like he's going to ride the hot hand of Matty Ice. Chronic Roaches has done a little manipulating with his team. We'll see if he can be competitive this year. Although only time. And finally, the matchup I have been waiting for: Bald Man against Bald Man. Mikkel's Marauders comes into Captain Ascalon's Stadium. Ascalon's just hoping to keep his streak alive, which he will. Mikkel's Marauders, I just need you to be Mikkel's Marauders this week. My big Achilles heel is I am going to have to rely on Alex Smith for my quarterback, and the Holy Shrine of Peyton Manning had to be set aside for the bye week. So, fingers crossed, I'm looking for a crazy Kansas City big scoring point game for this week. And that's all I have for this week, so I'll end the recap with this little video fun.